Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Grandstand Sports Data, your go to channel for sports, stats, and unbiased handicapping. We have something really special in store for you today. You've heard the debates, seen the comparisons, but have you ever wondered who truly deserves the title of the greatest NBA player of all time? Well, today we have an exciting twist as we put our cutting edge AI technology to the test. That's right, we're letting Chat-GPT, our incredibly powerful language model that everybody has been talking about, dive into the world of basketball statistics and make an unbiased selection. Brace yourselves for an epic showdown as we analyze the careers, achievements, and impact of some of the greatest NBA players ever. So buckle up and join us as ChatGPT dives into the numbers, the records, and the legacy to crown the ultimate basketball legend. Get ready for a thrilling ride as we determine the best NBA player of all time right here on Grandstand Sports Data. So first, we are going to start with qualification. I asked ChatGPT, who is the greatest NBA player of all time? And this is the answer we received. The question of who is the greatest basketball player of all time, often referred to as the GOAT, is a subject of much debate and personal opinion. There is no definitive answer as it largely depends on individual perspectives, biases, and criteria used for evaluation. However, there are a few players who are commonly mentioned in discussions about the GOAT. Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and finally Oscar Robertson. So, since there was no clear answer and they gave me this group of players when I asked ChatGPT, the next question that we gave them was, can you give us a criteria or maybe even a rubric to find out who the GOAT would actually be out of these group of players? So this is what the criteria is made of. Okay, so what is the criteria? First was championships. ChatGPT thought each NBA championship could be assigned a certain weight based on its significance. For example, winning the NBA Finals could be given a weight of 8 points. Next would be individual awards. Each MVP award could be assigned 7 points. Additional awards like NBA or All NBA selections could be assigned lower weights such as 5 points and 6 points for the leading scorer of the year. Number 3 would be All-Star selections. Each All-Star selection could be assigned a weight of 3 points, and winning the MVP of the event could be worth 4 points. Number 4 would be statistical achievements. Statistical records or just statistics in general could be evaluated based on their significance and impact of the game. So what we did on Grandstand Sports Data was we broke down statistics into two different, I would say, sections. We broke it down into playoffs and we broke it down into regular season. We assigned higher weights to the playoffs. As you could see, 0.66 for each of the statistics for the playoffs, and then the same thing for the regular season, but we did it half. So we think that the playoffs have a bigger impact, or you have to be an idiot if you don't think that the playoffs are of bigger impact than the regular season. Next, like we said, we broke them down into 3 sections. That would be player efficiency rating, which you will see as per. So you have 2 stats, player efficiency rating for both playoffs and regular season. Same thing with win share, which is represented by WS. And then we have win shares per 48 minutes, which is basically breaking down how well they play each game. And we did that for both playoffs and regular season. Finally, ChatGPT likes longevity and consistency. So these factors could be considered by assigning points based on the number of seasons played at a high level. So what we did at Grandstand Sports Data was we accumulated all the points for each of the 12 guys that you saw in the previous slide. And what we're going to do is once we total their points, we're going to divide it by the number of seasons they played. Now, some may think that that's unfair because some guys have maybe had a better peak in certain years than other guys. We just find that to be more efficient. And spoiler alert, we ranked it both on total points and broke it down per season, and the number one guy stayed the same. So no matter how you looked at it, ChatGPT picked the number one guy, who basically, if you tallied up total points, it would have been the same guy. If you tallied it up how we broke it down per season, it would have been the same guy. So let's just get right into it. So first, let's start with our honorable mentions. Out of the 12 guys, when you broke it down per season, number 12 was Kobe Bryant, coming in at 4.7. And all this is the number that represents is accumulating all the numbers that we just went through during the criteria, adding them all up for that respective person's career, and then dividing it by the number of seasons they played. So number 12 would be Kobe Bryant, coming in at 4.7. Next, you'd have Hakeem Olajuwon at 4.9. Cracking the top 10 and being your number 10 best player of all time, according to Chat-GPT, would be Shaquille O'Neal with a 5.9. Next would be Tim Duncan at number 9. After him would be Oscar Robertson with a 6.3. At number 7, you'd have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And at number 6, not making the top 5, would be Larry Bird. So Larry Legend. So let's start with the number 5 guy. Cracking the top 5 would be Bill Russell. So as you can see from Bill Russell, he's won 11 NBA titles. His accolades are 5 MVP awards, as you can see, 1958, 61, 62, 63, and then in 1965. He's made 11 All-NBA teams. You will see that in the bottom right. Those are the years signifying that. Also in the top right will signify his MVPs when it comes to the regular season. Top left, the trophy indicates titles, championships, and the bottom left indicates All-Stars in his All-Star selection years. As you can see from the bottom left in All-Star selections, he's been selected 12 times. He was an All-Star MVP once. His playoff numbers, he had a 19.4 player efficiency rating and a 2.1 win share. And that's a 2.1 win share. Remember, we broke it down per. So 2.1 win share per playoff appearance. So he was literally responsible for 2 of the wins on his own in the playoffs. His win shares per 48 was 0.178. And then the regular season, he won 0 scoring titles. His per was 18.9. So a player whose his player efficiency rating jumped up in the playoffs. He stepped his game up come playoff time. But you wouldn't see that replicate when it comes to win shares per 48, as he was a .193 in the regular season but dropped down to a .178 in the playoffs. All the way to the far right, you're going to see PPYR rank. That's the rank when we broke it down per year, like we said. His total would be 97 points. And then you would see next to that, his PPY per year was 7.5. That brought him to 5th. If you did his total rank, he would be the 8th best player with his 97 points. So that's what that far right column of ranks signifies in this. So let's see who comes in at number 4. Number 4 would be LeBron James. LeBron James coming in with 4 NBA titles. 1 in 2012, 1 in 2013, you got 1 in 2016, and then in 2020. He's been a 4-time MVP and a 19-time All-NBA selection. As you can see from the bottom right, in 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, all the way consistently throughout his career. He's a 19-time All-Star and probably in counting, and he's a 3-time All-Star MVP. As you can see from his playoffs versus regular season, his player efficiency rating jumps up when it comes playoff time, and it jumps up when it comes to win shares per 48. So he ups his game in the playoffs. Also, his win shares in the playoffs are at 3.6. Close, you can round that off to 4, which means he's responsible to winning a single series in the playoffs, that's astronomical numbers. To some people, you may say, oh, he's only responsible. But when you tally that all up, and it's literally, he could be by himself on a regular team and is responsible for one series or beating another team for 4 games. I mean, it's unheard of. All the way to the far right, you're going to see his total points were 148. That would have made him the second ranked NBA player of all time if we were doing totals. But because we broke it down per year, he's the number 4. Also, you got to factor in that he's still active and he's still an active player. So he could climb this list as time goes on, but Chat-GPT has LeBron James as the number 4th all-time NBA player. Coming in at number 3 will be Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is a 5-time NBA champion. He's also won an MVP 3 times in his career in 1987, 1989, and then in 1990. He's made the All-NBA or been selected to the All-NBA team 10 times in his career, while being selected to the All-Star game 12 times in his career. He's a 2-time All-Star MVP, and his playoff numbers don't necessarily jump up. They've actually taken a step down when compared to his regular season numbers. Also to note, he's never won a scoring title in his NBA career. His total points would leave him at 114, and this would have tied him for 5th when it comes to total points. So he would have been tied in terms of top 5 of all time when it comes to total points, but since it was broken down and he's played a little less years in his career, it translated to 3rd all time. I think what some people could say about Magic Johnson to kind of what would hurt his argument for best of all time would be his defense. He wasn't the greatest of defensive players, but that's a fundamental handicap and factor. And since we're not dealing with that with Chat-GPT, it's literally a technical analysis. You can't have that debate here. I mean, we're strictly doing numbers here, so you can't have that that fundamental factor, or we can't include it into this. But it is an argument that people will have. So I want people to kind of remember that that's what we're dealing with here, is that Chat-GPT put a formula, and this is the result of the formula. That, not everyone's going to have the same opinion. We don't even have the same opinion that this shot out in terms of results. But it's a good debate to have. So coming in at number 2 is Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain is a 2-time NBA winner. He won in 1967 as well as in 1972. He's a 4-time MVP. He won that award in 60, 66, 67, and 68. He's also been an All-NBA selection 10 times in his career, while holding or being selected 13 times as an All-Star. He also won the All-Star Game MVP in 1 year. If you can look down at the playoffs and regular season numbers, it will show you that he was a regular season performer, and his performance in the playoffs kind of dropped off. You can see his player efficiency rating in the regular season was a 26.2 and then dropped down to a 22.7 come playoff time. His win shares per 48 in the regular season were 0.248, sorry about that, and dropped down to a 0.200 come playoff time. So, I would hold that argument against him, but remember, that's a fundamental factor, and that's not what Chat-GPT is dealing with right here. He would have a total point score of 128, which would leave him, if you're going by total points, 4th of all time. But like we said, we broke it down per year, and he would be the number 2 player of all time, leaving us with number 1. And number 1, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has won the NBA title 6 times. He's done it as a three-peat 2 times. His first three-peat coming in 91, 92, and 93, while his second three-peat came after his baseball stint in 96, 97, and 98. He's won the season MVP award 5 times, once in 88, 91, 92, 96, and then 98. He has made an All-NBA selection 11 times in his career, while he was an All-Star 14 times and was a 3-time All-Star MVP. As you can see from his player efficiency rating, he was a 27.9, which ranked first in the regular season, and then turned it up to a 28.6, which was first by a mile come playoff time. His win shares were 3.1 in the playoffs, and his game was a 0.250 in terms of win shares per 48 in the regular season, but jumped up to 0.255 come playoff time. If you were tallying up his total points, he would have had 155 total points according to Chat-GPT, which would have landed him in first if you were tallying total points. Since we broke it down per year, he would have had a number of 10.3, which would have ranked him number one of all time with no debate. Some people that argue Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time will hold the competition level while he was active as a player against him, me probably being one of them. I would say that he was far the greatest basketball player I've ever seen, as long as with the most feared. I think that some people who argue that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, I would say that his physical ability and how he's structured and how he looks and how he carries himself as a professional off the court, definitely. But I don't have fear in my heart with LeBron with the basketball as I do with Michael Jordan. If I'm rooting for, say, any team that was against one of these guys, when Michael Jordan had the ball in his hand, I would be scared for my life, much more than I'd be scared for my life with LeBron James with the basketball. So me personally, taking away the Chat-GPT and just, well, let me go with this. The fundamental analysis factor would be that Michael Jordan did not face the greatest of competition. But remember, ChatGPT eliminates that. We only do the technical analysis. And with the technical analysis, this has been, I don't want to say voted, but projected to be the greatest of all time. So, like always, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. We hope you found our ChatGPT selection of the greatest basketball of all time very entertaining. Our goal at Grandstand Sports Data is to provide you with stats and bring unbiased handicapping. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Also, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Your feedback is everything to us, so leave a comment below if you would like us to do this broken down by position or even for other sports. Thank you for tuning in again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.